Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am just sharing this around. Give me a minute. Thank you. Come in. Let me know you're here. Don't be a stalker. Or you can be a stalker. It's okay. It's all right. Everybody likes to say they have a stalker, right? You can be a stalker. It's okay. Come on in. Happy Tuesday. Okay, here we go. So let me get back to where it was. Oh, I wish there was an easier way to share, but there's not unless I'm on. Da-da-bum. Hello. All right. I know it tells me we have a comment, but I'm going to tell you, I cannot see them. Cannot see them. What is going on with the comment section? Haha. So, has everybody been getting a lot of rain? Oh my goodness. Craziness. Craziness out there with the rain. So, lots been going on. You know, we didn't do this last week because I was on my way home from Maryland. I spent a few days with the kiddos and the grandkids and got to see a lot of the family because we had a birthday celebration early for both Skylar and for Earl, which was a really good time. Hi, Diane. How are you, baby? Good to see you. Love you too. Um, so it was a good time. I actually had steamed blue crabs for the first time in like over 4 years. They have been so expensive when I go up to Maryland, and I won't get them anywhere else but Maryland. But I have to tell you, they were so good. But here's the deal: when you don't eat something like that all the time, you pay for it. And you know, if you're a true Marylander, you do not eat steamed crabs without the seasoned Old Bay salt. And salt is not your friend. It really is not your friend. I love it, but it's not your friend. But the way that I use it with crabs, no, that wasn't my friend. And you talk about like swollen ankles and all that stuff. I was like, I was regretting all my life decisions, okay? But then again, I did get crabs and I probably won't get them again for another year. And by that time, I'll go, oh, it wasn't that bad. You know, have you ever been that person? Serious. Um, so it was, um, it was a good trip. It was a good trip. Again, got to spend a few days with Skylar before she had to go back to her mom's, and Cam, who is just that kid. Can I just say, he is so full of excitement and facial expressions and just um, just joy, just joy. He wanted to be with me all the time when I was cooking. You know, I go up there, we have a party. Of course, I'm going to cook. So I was cooking. Hey, Stephanie, how are you, baby? Good to see you. I was cooking, of course, for the party. And of course, for the kids, while they were all up there. You know, Anthony was there, his girlfriend was there. And, um, and so he wanted to be like right with me, watching everything I did. And what's really crazy about that is I remember when Skylar was like that. Skylar wanted to do, oh, Diane, thank you. He really is. But Diane, if you guys could like meet him now, like I had him at convention, but he was so young then. But he is just like this animated something that if you, did y'all see the picture I put of his dad and his uncle aunt and he was standing on his, they got this cool little stand that like he can climb right up himself, stand in this little thing. We never had that for our kids, and he can be just part of the conversation, right? It's all cool right there at the island. And like I was like, I just want to get a picture of the three of you together. And so they start giving these faces, and all of a sudden he turns around and he's got this look on his face. I was like, you know what? There's no denying this kid. He is definitely, definitely in the family. Hey, Christy, good to see you, baby. Thanks for joining. So what a blessing, looking at children. And by the way, all the energy he had, like he chased, he chased me and I chased him like around the island. I swear on some days, that's the only way that I got my steps in, right? But we were, and I'm just like this kid. And then he just wanted to do it again. There was never any tiredness. He was just something. Hey, Veronica, how are you, friend? Good to see you. Marlene, I see you there. Thanks for joining. So it was such a, just a great time, you know? And then, of course, we have all the food. I'm all worried as usual that I've made too much food. I haven't even got to share some of the things that I did. It's crazy. Some of the I've got all this stuff. I was videotaping the food and how I was making it, but like every time I thought, let me go ahead and post something, he was right there, or Skylar was there, and it was just the most amazing time. Like to just you watch these kids, and I can see my own kids at that age, and I'm like, it's just so great. Thank you, Christy. I love you. And hey, God is good, right? Mom in remission. Love it. Love it, everybody. Everybody, we've been praying for Lynn, my friend Lynn. It's Christy's mom, and she has been fighting. Matter of fact, not once but twice, this dreaded crap and cancer stuff that's out there. And you know what? She's in remission again. God had different plans, and boy, don't you love it when that happens. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Teresa. How are you? And Karen. Good morning, Karen. Um, yes, he is great, and you know, and what I really, I gotta just say something here about Christy's mom, Lynn. I've known her for a lot of years, as long as I've known Lee. I've known her, and she has been such a pillar of faith through this. Just, I remember when she first heard, there was, of course, like with everybody, there was a lot of fear, but she just said, we're going to go forward. We're going to do what we need to do. I don't think God is done with me in any way. So we are going to take the steps that we need to take. And she just kept living life, and she just kept loving people, and she just kept expressing that her faith was in God, and no matter what happened, she knew that he was there and he was in it. And that, tell you what, that's the stuff that can turn you around. I'm telling you, that's the stuff that's going to say, don't tell me there's no God. Yeah, there is. And sometimes I'm a true believer that what your mental attitude is going through something is absolutely what can sometimes turn something around. I've seen it with so many people. Doctors have seen it and not been able to explain it. And it's amazing what will happen when God has other plans, right? So loving that 100% of the time. So Maryland was a success, but it's always great to get home to your own bed. I am that person. If I could go spend time with everybody, but then come back home and sleep in my bed at night, I would be so much happier in life. I really would. Or like travel with my bed. That's just how I am. So Leslie says, yes, it can make or break you. So glad to make it work for me. Absolutely, Leslie. 100%, sister. 100%. There's some things, kind of family-wise going on with us. I'm just going to ask you to pray for Lee's cousin, Nancy. Pray for her. She's been in the hospital for a while, has some struggles going on. Just pray that we know God is there and we know God is in it, but we would definitely like to see a big intervention here of her health. And also, it's hard when you've been in the hospital and stuff a long time. It's kind of hard. It's hard. It sometimes can prey on your mood and your attitude, and there's no end in sight as far as you can see. So just pray that God will definitely let her know that she is not alone and that He is there, and that is. There's nothing. I don't know how people do struggles without their faith. I don't know how they do it. I just believe that, yeah, Stephanie, thank you so much. I just believe that anything is possible. And I know people who've been through a whole lot. Look, I've been through a whole lot. Good. Speaking of family, my daughter is on, Jess. Jess, we was just talking about Cam and Skylar too, but how animated that Cam was, and that he reminds me so much of his dad and his uncle Aunt when his smile. If y'all just don't know, when this kid smiles, you can't even stay remotely frustrated with him if you want to be, and I haven't posted the pictures yet, and I will. I've just been really busy. But I bought him, you remember Whack-A-Mole? Whack-A-Mole, right? Well, I bought him, and it said his age limit on it, okay? I bought him Whack-A-Frog. It's kind of like a learning. Morning, Donna. Good to see you on here. I bought him Whack-A-Frog, and I got it on video. Y'all are gonna die with this. But it has like these two hammers. Yes, they're hammers, but they're like got rubber ends on the mallet. And we're just, Jess is trying to show him how to do it. Oh, look, it lights up, blah, 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 blah. You pour this little bit of water in it and the steam comes up when you win the level. I didn't even know it did that when I got it, right? But this dude is like Samson from Samson and Delilah, Hercules. He took this mallet and he was beating the heck out of these frogs. He didn't care once he got the idea that he was supposed to hit them, it didn't matter if they were lit up. It didn't matter if they were trying to hop away. I felt the pain of the plastic frogs on the game, okay? His mom kept going, Bubba, stop, don't do that so hard. And he'd look up at her and he'd laugh, and then he would proceed. It was like something I had never seen before. I was like, maybe he just has like a little bit of pin up something. And I'm like, shut up, Molly. He got pin up nothing. His life is good right now. He's running around. He gets to go play with his friends. He breaks out the books, even if they're upside down, and he wants to read to you. And if you watch him, he's like, he takes it. He opened up the book, right? One time he look up. Nobody looking at him that he knew of. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And he actually has expression when he's reading. Although I don't know what he's saying. He loves, you listen, the itsy bitsy spider went up the wall. He loves the itsy bitsy spider. Loves it. Loves the book. He's got a book that takes him through it. But his poppy, Lee, finds this song list of kid stuff, right? And so it's got the itsy bitsy spider. So whenever the music would start, everybody would stop in their tracks and everybody would start singing the itsy bitsy spider. And then he does this. He just goes around. He look at everybody like, what are you crazy people doing? Like, all of you just stop. This is what he does. He looks at you and you're just trying to entertain him, and he'd look at you like you crazy. And then he laughs and he walks away. So I'm absolutely convinced he knows what he's doing. But that kid, I'll tell you, can't get enough of him. Can't get enough of him, I'll tell you. It's just amazing. And I mean, here's Jess and I. Jess and I sitting there, and we're just doing the whole thing. Up come the sun and wash the sun. You know what I'm saying? We had the whole thing going on, let me tell you. I thought, well, I'm glad nobody got that on tape, but I just got a lot of him. So I will have to start sharing those. I have been trying to play catch up since I have been back in town, but man, it was such a good visit. It just was. It was good food. It was good fun. I fixed a huge thing of our slush that we fixed and took it up there. And of course, Earl wanted to claim it all as his and didn't want nobody to have any. Anthony wanted to claim all the banana pudding. Skylar's trying to claim all the Oreo cookies, saying, don't put it out because there's nothing but vultures in this family. They're all going to come and they're going to eat it and they're not going to save any. And I'm like, stop being selfish, y'all. Quit being like, the food is made for everybody. And so, because I was just trying to make a point, I had made Skylar her own little Oreo cookie dessert and her own little thing for her to eat. And I showed her that, and we put it in the back so nobody would get it. I had to make Jess an extra thing of onion dip. They love Ma Pon Carrie's onion dip that I fixed. And she was like, you won't double that up, right? We're going to double that up because you know they're not going to be none left. So really, she wasn't calling them vultures, but she was really saying the same thing. Say that's what was happening. So yes, so I don't think I ever fixed that much onion dip in one time. It was like 8 bars of freaking cream cheese between the two of them. It was crazy stuff. So I fixed that, but yet there was very little. There was, hey, Fran's on here. Fran was there. So everybody's drinking the slush. Everybody eating the onion dip. There's hardly any potato salad or macaroni salad left. I mean, it was we didn't even have a lot of hamburgers and hot dogs left. So everybody was getting their eat on for sure. Skylar comes in, sees that there's like this much. And by the way, it was gone. She comes up and all she says is, I told you that this was going to happen. And I thought, yeah, you did. And there was just a little bit of banana pudding left. I don't even know if Anthony actually ever got any. At that point, after I had left and was on my way home, I said, oh my gosh, I don't even know if Anthony got any. So now he's going to be like, I told you I got none. The vultures took it. Yeah, I know, I get it. The family loved the food, okay? That's what it comes. The family loved the food. What do they call me? Oh, yeah. Steph, they call me Mom. I'm Mom. Yep. And let me tell you, yes, thanks, Jess, just put it down. But let me tell you what happened. You know, Cam says, we're going to get to the devotion. This is just really entertaining. I love this part. So Cam, like, when he's saying mom, when he's calling his mom, right, mama, it sounds like mom. So it does. And when we're trying to get him to say dada, he can say it, but he's that kid. He knows that you want him to say dada. But so he's going to be mom. So I'm looking and I'm patting me and I'm going, mom. So Skylar's sitting there and I said, we need to change this up. I said, all of, my friends call me, my really close friends, they call me Mo. Actually, Ray, who most of you may not know, Ray Penn, who was actually my mentor for many years, and we lost him to cancer, and he called me Mo, and Lee picked it up, and Lee called me Mo. So I am Mo to so many people that are very, very, Teresa Paul will call me Mo, just that, Scola, and Wilbur, all of them. So if you hear that, I'm the one they're talking to. So I said, how about Momo? How about, we could just do Momo, because I could get him to just briefly go Mo, right? And Skylar looks at me and she says, no, you are Mom. You are, and I'm like, but baby, he's not getting it. I don't want him to confuse it, thinking that, I'm trying to get him to think that I'm his mom. We're not trying to do that. And she says, he is little right now. He will get it. I chose that day. That's what you are my mom. He will get it. He is not stupid. Give him a minute, mom. Okay. So I was put in my place. She getting ready. She's 16. I don't know how that happened. 16, that girl. But I swear, ever since she was 5, she'd been going on 21. Now it's probably more like 35. But yeah, she was. So I was kind of put in my place. So mom it stays. And hopefully by the next time I go up there, we're going to try to make a distinction. We FaceTime, we do all of that stuff, but what a joy. And and after about the second day I was there, he would hear somebody coming up the steps and he would know. He would be like, looking up, and I'd be like, I'd come up and go, I'm still here. And first he'd look at me like, what are you doing here? And then all of a sudden he would just break out in this laugh and this smile like he just knew, and he knew what I wanted. He is just the smartest freaking kid. He is. He's just smart. Good eater. Ate almost everything that we fixed. So that made me happy, because Jess says he's kind of trying to turn into a picky eater with some things. And I was like, oh no, he's not going to want to eat my mom's food. What's going to happen here? But he did. So he enjoyed it. So it was a good time. So I guess my deal to you all is to say, you know what? Family can be a real pain in the tail. They can be. They can be drama filled. They can be, they can lie. They can gossip. If they talking about you, if they talking to you about somebody, you know they gonna talk about you with somebody else. What I'm gonna tell you is just accept that. That's normal. Just accept it. That's what family does. I hear the stories from everybody. What I want you to know is love your family. Love your family through it all. You know, you hear me say all the time, the majority of the time, if you need to, if they create that much hassle, you can love them from over there. But when you have a moment and you can get everybody together, and we really, for us, we kind of pick around Earl's birthday, Memorial Day to do that. And we used to do it Memorial Day and Labor Day because that Anthony's birthday, I should say. I used to always have two big family parties. But this has turned out to be such a blessing, that I don't get to see, I don't get to see the Stone side of the family very often. But last year we were lucky because we got to go to Benjamin's wedding, Benjamin and Colleen, and that was cool. And but take time. Don't let the stupid stuff get in the way. Because if you want to find joy, you don't have to agree with everything everybody says. You know, sometimes I feel like people give more leniency to people at work or to friends who are really not good friends than they do their family. And look, my family, they a bunch of wackadoodles, okay? Look, some of them on here. Look, my sister-in-law, Fran's on here. She knows. She's been in this family as long as I have. We have a bunch of wackadoodles. We've also lost some wackadoodles, right? And no matter how much of a wackadoodle they were or a PIA that they were, let me be clear. They were still family, and we always found something to love them for. That's for sure. So if you got the opportunity, take the opportunity. Hey, Angela, how are you, baby? Good to see you. Good to see you. Fran says he will get it as long as everyone that talks about you calls you mom. That's true. I believe that. But I was just like, he was looking at me, Fran, like, like you're not. So stop it. It was kind of like, no, I would say mom. And then he'd be looking over at Jess. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm confusing this kid. What's going on here? I don't even, yeah. But I guess he will get it. He will get it. I'm going to give him that moment because Skylar going to kill me if I don't. So yeah. So it was all good. It's all good. So, surely you walk away from every party going, who we going to talk about right now? There's always somebody to talk about. There's always some craziness going on. You know that. But there's also a lot of laughs. And there's also a lot of memories. And the one thing our family is really good at is always going back and sharing the memories again that we've experienced. And you know how sometimes it wasn't so funny when something happens, right? When something happens, you're like, you want to kill them. Like with my kids are always bringing up incidents with me, except they half liars. Because when it's something where they got in trouble, they make it sound like they were in the midst of child abuse with me. And I hate it when they do that. And that's why they do it, because I react to it, right? So, but they do. But now when we talk about it, it turns into a laugh. And I never could understand, like even things with me, I was telling, I don't know if I was telling Jess or who I was telling, but somebody while I was there, about the time that I thought I was smart enough to steal. That's right. We're getting ready to do a devotion. And I'm going to talk about the time when I was 7 years old and I decided that I could get away with stealing a pair of pantyhose that probably would have fit a woman who was 3XL, okay? That I could stick them in my coat when they came in the, they didn't come in the eggs. And I could put it in my coat and I could get out the store with nobody knowing. And what did that come from? Because some girl kept calling me a little baby. You're a little baby because your mom doesn't let you wear pantyhose. Blah, 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 blah. And that was the first thing of peer pressure, and I was going to show them, right? So, moms are smart. Moms are smart. Do you know that when I think back now, I could see the outline in my own coat? What was I hoping? That mom would not see it? Hey, Raj, I see you on here. Good to see you, my friend. I'm like, she ain't going to see it. Do you know that my mom let me walk out that store. I guess she wanted to see if I would really do it. With the, and when I got to the car, she said, Molly Sue, she's very, 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 very tense in the moment, but very calm. She says, unzip your jacket. And I thought, oh my goodness, boy, do I wish I could rewind. Of course, I'm going, what? No, it's cold. It's cold. It wasn't cold. It was springtime. It was a jacket, right? It was not. So here I was, and she says, Molly Sue. She always called me Molly Sue when she was not happy with me. Unzip your coat. And as I did, there it was. Now, I did not know then, I couldn't figure out why she smiled a little bit. Because, see, when I picked up those pantyhose, I never looked at sizing. Didn't even know you were supposed to look at sizing. Just saw they were pantyhose and thought, I'm going to make this happen, right? And, yeah, and it was like for somebody, I was, 7? And at that time, it was probably made for somebody who was like 250 pounds, maybe. I don't know. Maybe more. But one thing's for sure, my tail would have had to keep picking them up. And, not a good thing. Well, Mom took me back inside the store with them pantyhose and made me tell the manager, took me right up to that cubicle. I will never forget it as long as I live. And knocked on that door, and she said, my daughter has something to say to you. Yeah. And she said, you tell him what you did. You tell him. And I immediately, I've done burst into tears. Oh, I'm sorry. I took the pantyhose. And this girl's name was Michelle. So I like Michelle's, but Michelle just holds a bad thing for me right now, right? Michelle said that I was a baby because I was just going through the whole thing crying. And this guy was like, oh, honey, it's okay. And then my mom got mad at him. No, it is not okay, she said. She was like doing the whole head thing. It is not okay. She says, she will. You give these back. And I thought, oh, Lord, here we go. It was the worst thing. And she says, and you apologize. And I did. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. And let me tell you, my mom took me outside. And my mom walked me to the car and was completely calm and put me in the back seat. And we sat there in silence. And by the way, this giant food store, which is where I did this at, is like 4 minutes from home. I suddenly wish that it was 30 minutes from home. My mom told me to get to my bedroom. She put the groceries in, did her thing, put them away, all the other stuff, and then came in my room. And she said, I cannot believe that you tried to steal a pair of pantyhose, but she says, and this is going to definitely hurt you more than it hurt me. And I remember my mom tore my tail up. She did. You know what? I can tell you very few times I was ever spanked. Very few times. I wonder if my dad ever spanked me because I was, he just didn't. Mom was definitely the disciplinarian. And the whole time she spanked me, she cried. She cried. And let me tell you, I was trying to crawl up the side where my bed was, okay? Like she didn't get a lot of the swipes because I was moving. I was trying to be fast as lightning at that point, and I was never wanted to look at another pair of pantyhose myself. So that's over. That's done. And but yet I remember when Mom would tell, even though I lost Mom when I was 16, I remember her telling that story over and over again. And I remember when I was finally able to wear them, I didn't want to because it brought back such bad memories for me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was a bad memory for me. But what happens is, you know what? Eventually what you learn, and by the way, they talk about, I know, look, a lot of people, your mom should have never put her hands on you. Your mom should have never done that. Your mom should have just, talked to you. Let me tell you what never happened again. I never, ever, ever, ever attempted to steal anything again. Nothing. And I think God kind of knew that I needed that in my life because when friends wanted to do that, when friends wanted to go to stores and see what they could get away with, I said to them, you go right ahead, but somebody's mama's looking, okay? All I'm going to tell you is somebody's mama's looking. So y'all just go right ahead, but not this girl, and out the store I would go. So yeah. So I'm just saying, Mama made sure that I was going to think twice about anything that was important to her. And one thing that was very important to her is her kids were not thieves, and also that her kids were not liars. She didn't bade well with that at all either if I lied to her. So that didn't happen very often. But then it was kind of like, I'm going to give you one more chance. You want to start that story over again? You just sense the fact that you know that they know. Moms, I'm so, and I did the same thing with my kids. So when you become a mom, if you don't have that inner extra sense, oh, you have it. You just don't want to use it, because I believe every mom has it, and they just don't want to use it because they don't want to believe that their kid could do anything wrong. And I'm here to tell you, everybody want to do something wrong. It don't matter. They don't have to be raised, in some bad, poor neighborhood. It doesn't matter. It's in their nature. They're going to try it. But if you don't want them to try it again, how are you going to react to it? You know what I'm saying? And I was the same way with my kids. So, now I find out they were very good at doing some things and not letting me know about it. How crazy is that? So yeah, so it's all good. But family, don't completely write them off, because about the time that you think that you don't want anything to do with them anymore, something will happen, or something can happen with them, and maybe this time they mean it. Maybe this time they want to be better. Imagine if God looked at us that way, and if God, every time we did something wrong and we said we're sorry, or whatever that looks like, or forgive me, and he said, nope, you're over your limit. You're over the limit of forgiveness. I'm not forgiving you anymore. I don't believe you anymore. I know that you're going to do something else. So I'm done with you. But he didn't. He didn't. He he is a gracious God. He is a forgiving God. And no matter how many times we mess up, and we're going to, he is there, and he is a forgiving God. And I am eternally grateful for that. So let's jump into the devotion today. You'll see that the title is "Where is my happily ever after?" And these verses here, actually the one verse has always been my favorite verse, and then later on in life I found the second verse and realized that when you put them together, it almost has a whole different mood to it. It's Matthew 6:33 through 34. It says, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Well, one of my favorite, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. That was the King James version that I learned. But I never really took notice of the second verse for a long time. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. There's never been truer words spoken. Isn't it the truth? I thought that was just something that older people were saying for a longer time. Don't worry about tomorrow. Let tomorrow take care of itself. And here to find out, it was in the Bible, right? Good place to take it from. But it's true. We say, he says, seek you first, seek God, and all these things. And then if you don't get it right in the moment, what does he tell you next? He says, do not worry about tomorrow. Do not worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Stop it. Each day has enough trouble. I mean, think about it. Even when you're having a bad day, isn't it enough just to worry about what's happening in the moment? I mean, we're going to start worrying about what's happening tomorrow and next week and the week after that. I mean, if there's something that you need to move on, if there's something that you need to do, if there's something that you need to address and you're feeling it, address it now. Address it here. Address it today. Because don't be worrying about what that's going to bring you tomorrow or the next day, because you know what? We're only promised this moment. We're not promised tomorrow. You may feel real good right now and think, So can't wait to see tomorrow, man, because I'm feeling really good. You know what? There's a lot of people who never wake up to see that tomorrow. A lot of times that happens. But God does tell us to be in the moment. He does tell us to do the things that we should do now, to come to him today. Oh, I'm so tired, I'll have my devotions tomorrow. Oh, I'm so tired, I'll do this, tomorrow. Oh, I'm so tired, I'll call that person. I get that. But if it's truly important, do it now. Do it today. And you all know, again, I do this every time I show you. Liza Turkhurst, love her. We're in Seeing Beautiful again. There's very few in this book that have not actually personally touched my life. And this one has. This one has today. Where is my happily ever after? And you tell me if this does not speak to you in some way. And look, whether you are live or whether you are on replay, whatever that looks like, um, I would say to you, think about this. Think about this. Think about what this devotion says and figure out how you can handle differently. And the other thing is, know that you're not alone, because many people are going to watch this and they're going to be able to go, oh my goodness, that's me. That's in the moment. So you know what? If you have those thoughts, make sure you put them in the chat. If you have those thoughts, my freaking Fitbit keeps going off. I don't know why, guys. Hold on. I think it's telling me I need to get up and walk. Oh, no. It's telling me about something I got to do tomorrow. Nice. That's me, because I always have to know the day before what I have to do, because if not, that's just who I am. We'll talk about that another time. Okay. So where is my happily ever after? Here's what Liza says. She says, I felt the most unsettled, or actually she says, I feel the most unsettled when I'm uncertain about the future. I am that girl. There have been so many things over the last year and a half that I have felt uncertain about. And I will tell you, I am the person who should be saying, don't worry about tomorrow, but I do. I do, and I have to stop myself from that so many times. I suspect many of you are also facing circumstances that have left you feeling caught off guard and unsure about what tomorrow holds. So many times I find myself bracing for impact when I check my daily news feed. If there's one word that seems most certain to describe the times that we are living in, it's the word uncertain. Maybe you're in a job where you feel unsettled and you think that God is leading you somewhere else, but he hasn't yet revealed what's next. Been there. So for now, you walk into an office every day, giving it your all, but your heart feels disconnected and your real calling unfulfilled. Have you been there? I have. Or maybe you've been watching everyone else in your life find love, walk down the aisle, start the life you've dreamed of. Then a few months ago, you met someone who was everything you'd been hoping for. You told your friends this might be the one, and then this week, you felt that person pulling back. It's hard to understand. You feel panicked, but the more you press in, the more distance you feel between the two of you. There are thousands of scenarios that evoke these feelings of uncertainty, fear, exhaustion from life not being like you thought it would be. Whatever your situation is, you probably feel like you can't change it, but you still have to live through the realities of what's happening right now. Sometimes you just have to walk in your I don't know. The Lord makes it clear in his word that things will not always go as we wish they would in this life. Here are the quotes that we so often hear. In this world, you will have trouble. That comes from John 16:33. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:34. All this trouble is exhausting. Walking in the I don't know is scary. And sometimes we can be desperate to make things easier than they really are. We keep thinking if we can just get through this circumstance, life will settle down. And finally, the words happily ever after will scroll across the glorious scene of us skipping happily into the sunset. But what if life settling down and all your disappointments going away would be the worst thing that could happen to you? What? What if life settling down and all your disappointments going away would be the worst thing that could happen to you? What if your I don't know is helping you, not hurting you? Remember those verses we just read about troubles? Here they are again in the context of the full passages. Let's listen. I have told you these things so that you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That's Matthew 6:33 and 34 again. The crucial detail for us to have peace in the middle of everything we face is to stay close to God. We think we want comfort in the I don't know times of life, but comfort isn't a solution to seek. Rather, it's a byproduct we'll reap when we stay close to the Lord. See that I had to keep reading that part. We want comfort in the I don't know times in our life, right? But comfort isn't a solution. Rather, it's a byproduct that we feel comfort when we seek the Lord, when we talk to him, when we pray to him, when we ask him for direction, when we get in his word and say, what is he telling me? How is he telling me to handle my struggles? I wish I could promise you that everything's going to turn out like you're hoping it will. I can, of course. But what I can promise is this. God is close to us even in our I don't knows. God has lessons for us that are crucially important for our future, and we're learning them in the middle of all our I don't knows. God has a strength he must prepare us with, and the training ground is here in the I don't knows. This isn't a waste. It's definitely not pointless when we are walking with God. Let's cry out to God, declaring that this hard time will be a holy time, a close to God time. And let's choose to believe that there is good happening even in these places. Because wherever God is, good is being worked. That's hard to see a lot of times. I know it, you know it. How in the world is good being worked through, I don't know, a bad time? I don't know. Maybe it shows you just how strong you are. Maybe you always saw yourself as somebody who, maybe not to everybody else, but you saw yourself as weak. You saw yourself as giving in. You saw yourself as being a people pleaser. There's so many things. But in the moments of I don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know what the end result's going to be. I don't know what I should do next. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. In those moments where there is no easy fix, you start to figure out exactly what you're made of. You start to figure out that you are made for more. And then when you're able to look back, hindsight, you go, oh my goodness, how did I get through that? Because I didn't know how that was going to turn out. I didn't know. You know, I talk about my kids a lot, but when Earl was going through his divorce, my heart was heavy because I had already gone through a divorce with his dad. And I thought, man, I didn't want this for my kids. And I knew that Earl had so much to give, but Earl had to learn a lot about himself too and what was important. And Earl will tell you that he felt like he lost a lot of time with Skylar and that he was able to identify things that he wished that he had done differently. And it would have been very, very easy just to, put it on the other party, to put it on his ex. But he had to see some things, and he didn't know. He did not know where his life was going to go. He did not know if he would ever have what he needed to give somebody else. He did not know if anybody would be able to take him for who he was as he was trying to improve himself, knowing he was going to mess up. He never even knew or thought that there would ever be another child where he could somehow do it better this time and continue doing it better with his daughter now. But I'm here to tell you he didn't know any of that, and he would have those conversations with me. You know what? I don't know, Mom. Maybe I'm not cut out to be with anybody. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to be married. Maybe I will do better because I hate where all this is. And I couldn't give him any of those answers. But all I could tell him is to deal with the here and now and to work on himself. Work on himself and know what he would want to be different if there was another time, another place, another person, another kid. And you know what? There was. There was. He wasn't always good at the handling the I don't knows. But in the meantime, Jess was going through her own struggles in her own life. And I'm sure many times she said to herself, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know, maybe I'm not meant to be. There must not be anybody good out there. And then those two beautiful souls came together. And what if they had said, no, I'll never give anybody else a chance? They would never have known that they could experience something better, not in their time, in God's time. That they had to go through the bad here, and they had to go through the bad here. They had to know what they didn't want if they ever did it again. And they also had to know what they wanted to do differently if they ever wanted it again. And they also knew that they were going to have to be willing to learn together if they ever wanted to continue being great as one. And that's what's happened. They couldn't concentrate on the I don't knows. And they didn't understand why they were going through the things. But all things work together for good to those who love the Lord. There's so many verses that come into play when I think about what we've been through, the bad things in our life, or what we see as bad. And what they were is they were learning channels. They were learning channels to bring you together, to be able to be better as parents that they never were sure they would ever be good at. They never knew if they could ever be a good partner and be able to willingly and not be fearful of giving your complete self to somebody and saying, I want this to work and I want you to be. And what happened is they started looking at how to make each other happy because they have figured out what to do for themselves. They've both had issues with relationships in their life. And you know what? We all still continue to have relationship problems in our life with people. That's life, y'all. And you don't know. But you know what? If you don't go through those moments, you'll never, ever, ever know how you can be better after the I don't knows. Because you don't need to know in the moment. We want to know, but we don't have to know in the moment. Here's the prayer that Liza gives us here. God, more than I need you to fix anything in my life, I just need you. I am declaring this hard time as a holy time. Help me live in such a way that marks this season by closeness with you. I love that. I love that. I love the fact that our bad, our imperfect crap that sometimes we bring ourselves into, that if you will just leave it in the I don't know and just get through the day you're in, that God can use it for the better and you can reap better. You can. You can reap better, but how in the world would you even know? The struggles aren't fun, but they're necessary, right? They're necessary. This was something that Liza read, and this probably touched me more today than even this. But boy, it's amazing how I can take everything that she writes and I can apply it to my own life. And I have been blessed to be okay enough to share it with you. Whether you're listening live or on the replay or on my YouTube, whatever that looks like, to be able to say nobody will, everybody thinks they're just going through something, that nobody else could possibly be going through something, that is this always going to be this way? Is it ever going to be different? And then the reality is to be able to say, let me tell you about my mess ups. Let me tell you about the times I didn't wait for God. Let me tell you about the time that I experienced the hate and people just turning their backs, and let me tell you about the times that I didn't react correctly to it. And let me tell you about the times that I backed down because I just wanted people to love me, even if it was unhealthy. That's where I think my journey comes in, with business, with life, with the combination of business and life, with seeing the fact that God can use anything, the hardest struggles, the scariest moves, the failed relationships, the relationships now that we build up to be better, and forgiveness. Above all, forgiveness. It doesn't matter if they deserve it. Forgiveness is all about you. Because the I don't know of what they're going to do or how they're going to react, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. What matters is where you are in the game. What matters is your journey together. Listen to this letter from Liza. If ever there is a day you hang your head because of something not nice or not true someone said about you, remember this. Prove them wrong. You are kind. You are fun. You are loved. You are thoughtful. You are prayerful. Don't fall into the trap of saying ugly things back. Don't retaliate. Take the higher ground, and because you don't have to live with reaction, regret, celebrate. Now, you go live in such a way that illuminates the beautiful reality of who you are and who Jesus is in you. People will eventually see the truth. Man. So many times I wish I could take reactions back because they were emotional reactions. The truth will always show itself. When? I don't know. He tells me not to worry about that. He tells me to lift my head up and to keep my eyes on him and the journey ahead of me. And he says, don't worry about the rest. I hold that future. And when it's time, the truth will be revealed. Maybe the truth of why you had to go through something. Maybe the truth of why you feel, why did this happen to you? Who was there in your journey you could help? Maybe it's something that helps somebody that you didn't even know. Maybe it was something that you needed to figure out about yourself. And maybe it was a really dark night. And it was a really dark time. But when you took care of what you had to today, the sun's going to come back out. It always does. Let tomorrow take care of itself. Deal with today and know that If you allow him, he will walk with you. And when you want to spew, when you want to say, I don't understand why this is happening. Why isn't my life? Why is this person's life over here? Why does it look wonderful? Let me be clear to you. What you see is not always what it is. What you see is what people want you to see. They're only dummies like me who, share with you all the crap too, right? Like, what is that? Who does that? A few of us. A few of us. That God has humbled me enough in my space, in my life, to know that I'm not the only person who's made the mistakes that I've shared with you, and I'm not the only person who's ever felt how you guys have felt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only person, y'all. My job is to show you that I'm not the only one. And by the way, we all mess up. And guess what? I'm going to get off here, and somewhere along the line, I'm going to mess up again. I'm just going to have another story to tell you. It may not be stealing pantyhose because mama cured me of that, but it's going to be something, right? Right? So just know that no matter how anybody else wants someone to see you, no matter where your life is at, or maybe you're like, I just thought it would be further along right now. Like I'm okay with it not being at the end, but I really thought that like some things would come together that I thought. You're being protected. Those things, those people, it was meant for them not to be where you thought they should be. Not yet. It may not be their time. It may be something that God's trying to save you from. Don't push it. Don't try to make it happen. Don't try. It's going to happen in the time that God wants it to. But quit trying to rush and bring tomorrow and next month into today. Deal with today. Embrace the I don't knows. And know that if you don't have the answer of why right now, it's going to come when it should come. Stop exhausting yourself. Embrace God in all of this. And for just a second, stop and look around. Close your eyes if you have to. Maybe you want to look around. Maybe it's chaos around you right now. At this moment, you're like, I do not want to be where I am at right now. It could be you. For just a moment, pull something out of your hat of gratitude. And I have to say, God, I don't know why this is happening right now. It feels like it's just me, and it probably isn't just me, God. But God, help me to leave the I don't know to you. But in the meantime, God, thank you there's a roof over my head. Thank you, God, that I got up out of bed this morning. Thank you, God, that ain't nobody coming to repop my car today. Just saying. Thank you, God, that when I see so many other people who have help getting out of a chair or a bed, that I was able to do it. But don't forget that if you need help getting out of a bed, thank him that you could get out of the bed. And if you can't get out of a bed, thank him that you're still breathing. Thank him for that person that you take for granted every single day. Because there is always something to be thankful for in this life. But when we concentrate on the what I don't knows, we rob ourselves of the right now. Do better. You're going to mess up. It's okay. I'll be back next week to tell you how I messed up this week, right? That's what we do. But God has sent Liza's message, and I'm sharing that message with you along with my stories and my craziness. We're going to do better. We're going to learn how to handle these I don't knows together. Have a great rest of your week, and always turn to God, no matter what.